In our short time on this planet, we have all been witness to the beauty of Africa. From the incredible landscapes and wildlife to the colorful people who call it home, it's clear that this continent has something special. It's clear that we need to share it with the rest of the world. And that's why we are calling you to shoot the culture of Africa, to showcase its heritage, her culture and her beauty, and make sure everyone gets to experience it. Shoot the culture.
My name is Uche Chika Elumelu, and I am one of the festival directors for the annual film Mischief. It's a film festival brought to you proudly by Film Rats. And last year we had our theme as Less is More, where we paid tribute to a lot of low-budget movies who would normally not have their own outing on the silver screen, and it was a very good outing. And this year is our second time. This time we are saying shoot the culture. It's kind of a double entendre. It's shoot the culture, celebrate everything that is authentically African, and lose and unlearn all the things that have held us back from really shining on the global stage.
Okay, for our Maiden Edition last year, it was beautiful to see a lot of positive feedbacks from the audience, from guests, special guests, even from our official partners. It was just beautiful to see our baby come to life, and so many people enjoy it and see and celebrate films that have low budgets but still look beautiful on the big screen.
So a lot of the time, a lot of the creative opportunities and the activities and everything are typically domiciled in Lagos. But again, Nigeria is 36 states and Lagos is just one of those states. So the first time we had the festival, we decided to have the festival in Lagos and Ibadan. It was a Herculean task. But coming out of that, I personally appreciated it because it gave an opportunity for people who live in Ibadan to experience the festival in their location without having to come to Lagos for the big festivals. Also again, it's created an experience in a way because some people started in Ibadan and finished in Lagos. So coming into this year, again, because the festival is evolving into a Pan-African festival, we wanted to be Pan-African inside and out. So we decided that, okay, we would have our festival screen in multiple Pan-African cities. But as the festival was coming closer, we realized that it was a bit unrealistic. So we'll stick to one and pace ourselves, and hopefully in forthcoming years we can scale out all the cities. If you look at it from a Pan-African demographic perspective, the African youth is the youngest youth in the world. So actually they need those spaces. We need those spaces. So that's typically what informed that decision.
I'm really excited about this year's the submissions this year, because we have submissions from different parts of Africa, from Kenya, from Ghana, from South Africa, from Germany even. So it was very vast. We had a very wide array of films, and so it was tougher. What we are trying to do in TAFM is to make filmmakers understand that the reason why your project is showing or screening in the festival is because we want you to talk about your film. We are interested in that conversation you're about to have, the conversation you started in your film. So the festival is that platform that continues that conversation, and then as you go along in other festivals, they are grooming you, in that subject, in that conversation you started. So it's about the conversation for me. It's about the conversation and helping the filmmaker grow to understand himself. There's a certain confidence you should have when you are speaking about your film. That confidence should start in the film. When you start making that film, understanding the process, understanding why you're making the film, and understanding the audience that you're working with. So that's the importance of a film festival like this.
Generally, Film festivals are quite important for filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers, to test waters, experiment, be brave, and reach more than not just your terrain, reach further terrains and further platforms. So your own unique story, your own uniqueness can also be appreciated, not just being appreciated, but also being spotlit in front of many people other than your own immediate environment.
Jesus, humans are difficult. God, I'm supposed to be head of content, supposed to be, but I'm the head, I'm the tail. I'm doing everything myself. It has been really, really difficult. But overall, the experience has been amazing. I found myself writing copies for things that I would naturally not do. Look, now I'm going to add content creator to my resume, and I'm actually actively seeking jobs in that area because it just brought out a different part of me. I don't know what the festival organizers saw in me that made them even reach out. Maybe because I used to design graphics, but I have not even designed a single graphics that I started. A different part of me. I've been able to explore more creative side.
I think leading is hard, but it's also easy if you have like the right people with you. Generally, I was like very hesitant to like lead people because what am I going to say to people? I don't know. I don't think I know what I'm doing. So am I going to say, okay, let's have a meeting, like who will listen to me and all of that. But it was really interesting to see the reception I got. People were willing to like offer advice and like listen to me when I post stuff on the group. People were saying, okay, let's do it like this. People were going to DM me. People were actually showing up to the meetings, which I was surprised for until everything died down later on. But it was interesting to see people like wanting to like support this cause. And obviously at the annual film Mischief, we're doing such a lovely thing. We're making a film festival, like just a bunch of young people come together to do a film festival. And everybody is just so hands-on and interested in like helping.
When you don't have a leg in, it's quite difficult to get people to take you seriously. Sending out letters for sponsorship, for partnerships, and explaining to people that please, we are a baby, we are about to become 2 years old, we are just a year old. We don't have the funding for you to be requesting for maybe 50% payment. You have to meet us halfway, help us to help us. So if you are out there and you have, the kaching to spare, please bring it.
It was for me. It was for action. Come on.
I believe that the annual Film Mischief is a step in the right direction regarding conversations around the proper representation of Africa in the film industry. As we've highlighted earlier, an important part of what Shoot the Culture is encouraging filmmakers to take the reins and not be afraid to tell their own stories. And from our official selections, we have short films, documentaries that showcase this culture and traditions beautifully. When we start to tell our stories and not be scared to do away with the ideas of how African films are supposed to look or sound, then I believe that it can pave way for other countries to properly learn through us how Africa should be represented in the film industry. I mean, no one can tell our stories better than we do.
The annual Film Mischief being a festival, being known now for its uniqueness in terms of choice of films that are being selected, and for also giving that spine to young indie filmmakers, enigmatic filmmakers who do not want to be conformed, unorthodox filmmakers as it were generally. So yeah.
So interestingly, the strategy for the jury was that we wanted to disrupt the typical jury process at festivals. So typically at festivals, the juries are typically comprised of actors, directors, and maybe like one or two producers at times. But we wanted to be more inclusive in that process. So when we were strategizing, we wanted it to have a representation of the core people who are on film. So which is the actors, an actor, producer, director, a writer, but also an editor and a cinematographer. So that was our strategy behind it. And also again, we wanted, because the festival was evolving into being a Pan-African festival, so we wanted our jury to reflect that really. And then we wanted them to be a representation of Africa. So I remember that when we were having the meetings, we said, okay, we'll have a jury from North Africa, West Africa, East Africa, and South Africa. The result wasn't exactly that, but we were really close and we're very grateful. So basically, on one hand, we got everybody we wanted skill-wise. So we got a producer and actress all in one. We got a director, we got a cinematographer, we got an editor. We didn't necessarily get a writer. However, Lukman is a screenwriter because he writes his movies. I vividly remember the first time the email came from Egoboyo. I literally ran out of my house to scream because I was so excited that we pitched to Egoboyo, and she wrote us this beautiful email in response to that. And then, because I remember as we were strategizing, we got pretty much our first choices, because I even remember the WhatsApp conversations of, and we're like, okay, who do we want? And we were like, okay, Egoboyo, Lukman Ali, Cabello, and everybody else. And we pitched to them, and thankfully they saw us and accepted us. So it's those the little moments that you think about and you're like, oh wow, this is actually happening.
TAFM 2023. Shoot the culture!